Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to complete the some of the controls related to Google Data Studio. So just let us see these options that we have. So in here we have the basic file processing options. In here also nothing special. Here we can decide not to view the grid. So if I switch this off, you can see that the grid has disappeared. Otherwise, you can just view the grid. And if the grid is on, then you can snap to the grid, or else it will just snap itself to smart guides. The grid size obviously can be increased. So if I've already increased the grid size, so you can also try to increase it to up to 30 or something like that. And you can see that the grid size here, the size of each square is going to increase. Depends on how you want to take it. You can also insert padding. You can insert a horizontal offset between the figures like this one, or you can also insert a vertical offset. So this sometimes it works. Right now, it's maybe when you click two of them, then you can have something like you can't do that. So these offsets are typically for uh, setting the left and right margins or the top and bottom margins of your report. So you can try these out. Currently, I don't think so that we need any high offsets here. The just default setting is just working, so we don't need to mess with that much. Okay, so we can't use a time series chart right now because we don't have the data for the time series. We don't have the dates. So we have done almost all the other charts. Pie chart is something you can program yourself. It further scattered the bullet, and the area chart does not really add up right now for us as well, because area chart can also be useful when you have the date. We don't have the date, so the area chart and the time series chart are not working for us. So we can have a drop down list. So if I select a drop down list here, so the drop down list by default is the name. Okay, and the metric, I can always take that as the sales or 6 months. And in here I can make it report level. If I make it report level, then this filter is going to be automatically applied to all the names on this dashboard. So I can make it report level. Remember, this is a drop down filter. So when I click on view, so in here you can see that I can simply, if I deselect, so let me first so I have here. So if I deselect, so I think something, let me make page level, and then if I click on view, so I have to actually, so if I click on Sykes and let's say just Blackburn. So you can see that the charts are going to change here. So we are going to show the data just for Blackburn. Now if I add Zimmerman as well, so it's going to show it for two people, Blackburn and Zimmerman. So in this way, you can use this filter to, may on a separate dashboard, you can use this filter to, just see the data for regular customers. That's the thing. So let me delete that, and I can add more filters as well. I can have a fixed size list. So this list is fixed size. So it's not a drop down list. So it's just a view like this. So it depends on what the size you want. It's just two ways of doing exactly the same thing. Okay. So in this way, in here you can, like the drop down case, you can just see across sales 6 months the sum. Across that you can take that as the default metric, and then you can just make this more interactive by changing the colors, etc. So that is the drop down fixed size dollar. Then I can have an input box, and this one is pretty interesting. So I can just enter the name here. So if I have a view, so if I enter the name, just let's say Zimmerman. So that is more convenient, than looking at a long list. So it's going to display here only for Zimmerman. Okay, I don't know if I can add more, like maybe. So no, it just I think it takes a single name. So it can't show like, or maybe there's another way to combine for two people. Let me check this one. So let's go back to the edit, and let's see how we can. So it's just a control field which can take one occurrence, I think. So if there's a way to enter two names, then you can enter that. You can Google that and find that out. So just taking the controls here. So these are actually, we're looking at filters: fixed size list, drop down list, and the name control. And then we can have an advanced filter. Let's see what that does. So an advanced filter, actually it puts a limit on the name. So name equals that. So we can change this. Let's say we can do it on, let's say, age. Age is something which you can put as a dimension, as a filter. And if I view that, so age, I can say age is between, let's say, 25 and let's say 65. So if I click on that, so the charts are updated according to that. Okay. And in the same way, we can select in greater than equal to, etc., etc. So this is another way to put the filter, very basic filter in Google Data Studio. Okay. Just make a report level is going to be this. It can't be that much simple. To make a filter in Tableau, for example, you have to perform 2 or 3 steps. In this case, you just have to make it report level, and it's going to apply itself automatically. This one is pretty good for numerical data, which is the slider. So when you have the slider, obviously you can have multiple sliders. So let's say I have one for age, and I can control C, control V, another one for, let's say, sales. So this one is pretty good. So let's do it. So I'm looking, the minimum age is 17, and as well I'm looking at the minimum age, let's say 40 years. And the maximum I'm looking at is maybe around 75 or something like that. And so the minimum sale is 0 and the maximum is 326. So let's say I'm looking at the minimum sale, at least I want a sale of 150. So these are very good filters, I can say. And now we can see what are the customers which satisfy only this particular condition. So these are the few customers who satisfy this particular condition, and I can just see the customer patterns here with these sales. So it's pretty complicated. So if you want to go towards the higher side, so I guess we don't have that many customers here again. So we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 customers. They're not that much old, and they are adults, they are mature, and they're giving you good sales. So we can also consider these as the best customers. We saw some of them last time: Zimmerman, Walker, and Sykes. But these names are added more. So with respect to the gender, yeah. So that's pretty good. I think this one is pretty good. So you can just apply different ranges here and see the effect on the you know see the effect um, on the report of these filters. And then we have the checkbox. Checkbox, all of you are pretty comfortable with that. It's a pretty basic thing. So the checkbox, I need to have a control field. So I think it just has to be a binary variable. So for that to happen, I just click on campaign, um, and so sorry, I'm done here. So I needed to actually change the so I'll just edit the connection. So I think I don't know what is showing me only. So yeah, I actually need to change the um, response, the type of the response variable. Let's see if I can change it here. So there's no response variable here. So let me go back to page 4. And yeah, we need a, let me shift to page 5, for example. So let me add the response here, let's say. So the response is already Boolean. So it's already a type Boolean, okay? So what I can do is that when I come here, so if I insert this checkbox, so I have to drag in here a Boolean field. So this is already Boolean. So now I can have this. So if I click on view, so currently it's not changing because the response variable is not shared here at all. So I have to actually make I have to insert a chart in which I need to see a response variable. So let me have let's say a column chart maybe. I don't want to have a name. Let's say I have the response as well here. So I need to have a Boolean type here. Otherwise, so if I drag it to here, and let's say the dimension is gender. Let's see if I can put the breakdown dimension as response. Oh no, because I changed that. Because I changed the type, that's why it's not working like that. So I just wanted to show you how to put that up with respect to the response variable. So we don't know where we can model the response as a Boolean here. I can't even, this is going to give me an error, obviously. So in any case, the checkbox can only apply to Boolean variables. Let me just Control Z that. I'll see where the gender here. I don't think so. That is going to change with respect to. Okay, let me put the total sales here. Okay, so I mean, if I, it's not going to make a difference here, but just to a checkbox with respect to the response variable, because the response variable is not modeled there in any case. When I click on view, let me check if this is at the report level. Make report level. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So I was able to figure that out. So let's say we have this chart in which we have this bar chart in which I'm just seeing the total number of rows and the total sales with respect to the response variable, which is yes or no. Okay. And let me put the response in here as well. So maybe I can have the response in here as well. So both yes and no, it is showing me the record count. Let me see the total sales, or as someone pointed out, in this case, I just want to see the average sales. Okay. So this is showing me, but now I want to have a filter with respect to yes and no. Okay. I want to have a checkbox in which I can just click on the yes and no. So to make a use the checkbox, you have to actually create you have to create a Boolean variable. I can't just directly I can't directly convert any form to a Boolean. I have to make it a Boolean which Google Data Studio can understand. So for that, I'll just click on this chart and I say add a field. And in this case, I can name it NCF, which is a new calculated field. Obviously, that is going to be based on the response variable. So I can write something like this: case when response equals to yes, then true, else false, and end. So you can see here that it is recognizing the keywords here. So this formula is verified, and then I can click on save. And then I'm saying, okay, I'm done. I'm done with that. Now, if I add this the checkbox here, so I can add the checkbox. So by default, it accepts the Boolean value, so it has accepted NCF. Okay, which is a Boolean of the response variable. So I can just click on view here, and if I accept both, it's going to show me. And if I deselect, then it's going to show me for no. For yes, it's going to show me like this. So for no and yes, so I can see how the sales are varying with respect to that, yes and no. Okay. Um, and I can also have this, let's say, date range control. We don't have the dates right now. Data control. Let me see what that is. Yeah, so it allows you to select different data sets. So if you click on view, then currently we have the default data set. So if you are using more than one CSV or Excel file, then I think it's going to show the list here. So this might be useful if you are blending things. So this is not very important right now. So I can embed a URL here as well. So on top of that, let it embed on top of that, and I can say, for example, https://www.iba.edu.pk. So here we have the IBA website, and I don't know whether we can explore it. So you can explore in here whatever you want to explore. Okay, so there might give some error, but you can improvise on that, right? The other things that we can insert are text and our own personal images and lines and rectangles and circles. So that's basically to make things more interactive. So I can just put a text here, and I can say that it is, let's say, chart. So it's sort of stuck. Yeah, so I can just simply, make it pretty big, and I can just change the color. I can make it orange color, and I can make it bold. I can say chart one or something like that. And there are many other backgrounds. I can make a black background or something like that. So bold, and I can make it center, and still I can obviously increase that to 22. So once I design such a label, I can have replicate the same across all the charts, and that basically finishes my dashboarding stuff. One other thing that we want to see is the blending of the data. So data blending basically means that I add a new data source. So if I blend the data to campaign data, so let me see if I can add another data source here. So let me check if Google Analytics is available. No, it's not. Google Ads. So Google Ads. And what are the join keys? I have age. So let me see if I have the age here. So I have age here as well. So it can join on this, right? So it's something, it's so the point is that we can join on this age, and if I save this, so I have the joined variables available to me here. So obviously this is generating some sort of error. You might need to do it, do another activity here to figure that out. Okay, guys. For the blending part is something like that. If you have two charts in which, for example, the x-axis is the date and the y-axis represent different KPIs. So if I have three or more charts like that, then I can just select the two charts together and then right click on them and then use this blend data. So right now it's saying chart configuration incomplete because we don't have the date data, but once we have the date data, then we can use this feature. So I have the different KPIs here working on the date, and then I can blend them together, and then we can simply see the trends collectively. So we'll do that in the next sheet, inshallah. Okay. So I think we have finished with this Google Data Studio. So now your job is to just work with these things and make the charts interactive, and try to improve this the outlook of the dashboards that you have created. So I told you that you need to show a story, like from page 1 to page 6. There must be a story, there must be motivation, there must be justification, the motivation for each page. Probably you show the most important results initially, followed by in the order of the decreasing importance, or maybe you have another strategy for displaying. In any case, the point is that you need to tell a story about it. So if you tell a story, then it becomes very easy to understand what's happening. If you focus just on one particular chart, so probably the managers are going to say that they know about that already. That's the point. And in this case, we need to tell a story with respect to that. Okay. So thanks for watching, and we're going to be back inshallah next Tuesday.